Hey, welcome back everybody. Today's video is a little bit different. It's the end of October. I used to do this more often on my channel, but I think what I might start doing is resurrecting this idea of a month in review because this October, compared to the rest of the year, I've actually started sampling a whole bunch of new perfumes. I had a bunch of samples and I decided just to add them into my rotation and like start smelling some new things. So what I want to do in this video is actually talk about a couple that I really enjoyed testing and a couple that I didn't quite enjoy for various reasons. But before we start with the samples, I do want to also let you know that there's been a new addition to my perfume wardrobe, and it is this. Now, if you can't tell what that is, this is the box for a Serge Lutens Fumerie Turc Gratte-Ciel line. I did a review on this particular perfume some time ago, and that review was based on a sample I had, which I believe came from, now I'm not so sure actually, but it either came from the bell jar or the regular rectangular bottles, which I've seen this perfume in both versions. If I can find pictures, I'll put them up on screen. So this perfume, this particular perfume from Serge Lutens has come in those varieties, and now it is available in this style bottle, and I think that also comes with a price increase since this came out. Now, I've got to say, I'm not a big fan of this bottle design. Holding it in my hand, it's quite lovely, to look at. I think I just don't really like, I should have said it's quite nice in the hands to sort of hold and everything, and the spray is great, and like all other Serge Lutens, you can screw the sprayer off. It's a plastic-like cap. This is just for you guys who want to know what it looks like. Comes in a regular sort of cardboard box. Serge Lutens don't normally come in extravagant packaging, but this. So the perfume itself, from my memory, I'm going to have to do this from memory. It still smells great to my nose. What I get in this particular, if it's been reformulated, what I smell in here that from memory, I don't quite remember, is that I get a much more pronounced beeswax note in this particular version, which is lovely. I really like beeswax as a note. It still is quite animalic, and the tobacco is deep and heavy and damp. I think the main thing in my mind that doesn't come through here as much as it did in the sample that I had in my review the dried fruits, or that dried fruit accord doesn't come through as much as what I remember it does. I don't know if it's just a matter of sort of giving it time, and I've only worn from this bottle once, so that's just my first impression, but I thought I would show you that. Now, this was actually sent to me as a gift by a very generous, beautiful soul. I wasn't expecting to get this because I can't actually get this particular perfume here in Australia or get them to ship it here, so it was a beautiful gesture and I really appreciate it. Thank you for that. Okay, so that's my addition to my wardrobe, a new bottle. What have I sampled that I've really enjoyed? So I think the theme, as far as I'm concerned, from all the samples I had was that I'm really liking a few floral sheepers, and a couple of them, well, one I think might be discontinued and a couple you can still get, but what I'm asking my viewers and you guys to do is, if you've smelled modern versions of these particular perfumes that I'm about to mention, please let me know what you think of them, especially if you've compared them to vintage. I know I'm not expecting to get a lot of comments saying that the vintage that the current version is as good or better than the vintage. But if it's just, if it's acceptable, I'm willing to look at it. So, okay, so I'll talk about this one first because it was the most recent one I wore. Now, let's see if I can get this in focus. Okay, I'm not sure if I can. So this is a mini of Lancome's Magie Noir. This is an eau de toilette version. I know you can get parfum versions, vintages, and so on. This is a gorgeous, gorgeous perfume. What I distinctly get from this one, this version here, is a big, sort of slightly dirty honey note in amongst the florals and the mossiness of its particular structure. It's a little bit animalic as well when it dries down, but it's just really, really gorgeous and completely unisex. Maybe more so compared to the other two I'm going to mention. So that's Magie Noir, and I'm curious for anyone who owns the current bottle that looks like this, what you think of that one there, because I'm very, very seriously considering buying a bottle of this if it's close to what I have here. A couple of other honourable mentions for what I've really enjoyed testing this last month. Eau de Soie from Sisley, it looks like this one, and also Ivoire de Balmain, which I think this one is discontinued. I could be wrong, but I haven't really checked. I just asked a couple of people, and I think I was told that it was discontinued. Or I can't see any new versions of it anyway. But Eau de Soie, I really, really enjoyed both of these ones, and they're perfumes that if I just looked at the note pyramids or the kind of genre that they're in, I wouldn't necessarily have anticipated enjoying them as much as I did, but they really were wonderful on my skin. The last good sample or good testing that I had in October that I wanted to mention is Rochas Moustache 1949. This is the Eau de Toilette version and is completely different to the more recently popular Eau de Parfum version. So that looks like that, and the Eau de Toilette looks like this. The 1949 Moustache Eau de Toilette is a citrus, it's essentially a citrus mossy eau de cologne, very much in the style of things like Dior Sauvage or even, what am I thinking? Stuff like Armani, I'm going to get it wrong. No. It's this bottle here. Anyway, it's in that style, and I really, really was surprised by how much I like it. I don't know why I was surprised, but it's a really good perfume that maybe has been overshadowed a little bit by the Eau de Parfum version that got a lot of YouTube and social media hype when it came out. The bottles look beautiful as well. Now, I will end this video with a couple of perfumes that I tested that I didn't love for different reasons. So the first one I'll mention is this one here. This one is called Emerald Reign, Reign, by the House of Sillage. So what I will say is this. It's a perfectly well put together amber perfume. There's nothing amazing or groundbreaking about it, but there's nothing actually bad about the way it smells. However, this in Australia can be bought for $500 for 75 mil, 500 Australian dollars for 75 mil. And I suspect that I am paying predominantly for packaging. The reason why I have a negative, impression of this perfume is that if I had blind sampled this perfume without knowing what it was, I would have thought, oh yeah, it's pretty good amber. I have smelled lots of ambers, and the thing is, like, there is stuff like Serge Lutens, Ombre Sultan, there is Maison Francis Kurkdjian's Grand Soir, there's even things like Dior Mitza, if you can still get it wherever you are. Andy Towers, L'air du Desert Americain. These are all really good ambers, all very different, all bring their own unique character to the amber genre, and they're all cheaper than this House of Sillage. So I look at something like Emerald Rain and I think, why would anyone buy this unless they were simply collecting this amazing looking bottle, if that's your thing. When it comes to the other perfume that I had a negative impression of, my apologies in advance. Please do not take this personally. It's from Mancera. This is a red tobacco. When this came out, I heard and read a lot about this, and admittedly, when you look at this bottle, I think it's first the colour of the juice. I don't mind the aesthetic of Mancera bottles, but this perfume on my skin to my nose is just really, it seems to me like a case of throwing all the popular aroma chemicals into the mix, not having any consideration of balance, composition, development, and saying, here you go. For you guys who value projection, performance, sillage, longevity above the smell, this is for you, red tobacco. When it comes to the smell on my skin, this stuff was a scrubber. Like the more it stayed on my skin, the more I wanted it to come off. Some people like it, I do not. And that is October 22 in review. I'll see you all later. Thank you for watching. Bye for now.